Here on 2 Now, we join Geoffrey Smith on Jersey for Gardener's World.
Welcome to Gardener's World and Mrs. Lord Phillips' garden at Gourey. You know, Mrs. Lord Phillips, what makes me green with envy as a northern gardener is the fact that you've got camellias and what I would call summer bedding in flower at the same time. Those are beautiful.
They are lovely, aren't they? They used to be called Agathea, now called Felicia.
Yes.
I don't know why they've changed their names, and there are two kinds, and this one I think is a little bit tougher than the other. One's called Papii, and this is called Amyloides.
Quite, they should be out of character, but they do look right, even in the middle of February, don't they?
No,
and that has to be summer bedding. The geranium.
Well, the geranium was a bit of a risk, but because it would, normally speaking, in a bad winter, not stay outside. But I think the colour is so good with the old Narcissi Soledad and this. It looks very good together. And I mean, if it will grow, why not let it grow, don't you think?
Absolutely. I'm all for encouraging plants to do things for themselves rather than me having to do it for them.
An example here, I think you have it. And you see, I think that's little February gold. Do you see that one in front there?
Yes, the little one. But I prefer this because the fragrance is so absolutely delightful,
it's
isn't
lovely,
it?
Isn't it?
And then looking down the hill through the grey helichrysum to the Convolvulus neorum.
That's right, yes.
A big bush like that. I've never seen a bigger one, but probably as perfect a complement between flowers and foliage as you'd get in any shrub.
Yes, yes.
And that survives. Is it long-lived in the garden?
Not terribly long-lived, no, because I think 5 or 6 years. It does marvellously, and it flowers, and so, funnily enough, does the helichrysum. It flowers too. But suddenly, it's had done its lifespan, alas.
Yes.
And they haven't quite such a long lifespan, I don't think. We get awfully upset when they die.
But we tend to forget that they have a time limit, as we have.
As we have.
But you root cuttings from it.
Oh, yes, yes, I always have some in reserve.
And beautiful thing. It takes the corner of the garden because here you've got such a dense carpet of plants on a very steep slope. There must be no problems with weeding.
Well, that's one of the ideas of it. I don't always succeed, but it is one of the ideas.
And the star of the veld, the Dimophatheca. Which one is it?
Well, it was given me from the Scilly Islands, and I understand that it was named after the late Robert Dorian Smith's wife, Peggy, and it's known as Scilly Purple Peggy.
Very,
and I
very
think it's
pretty.
a beautiful one, don't you?
When you look down into the flower there,
yes,
bright gold stamens, dewed with water.
Yes,
Can you see it?
It's simply lovely, yes.
And how do you propagate this one? Is it by cuttings?
Well, it does root quite easily by cuttings. Yes, we've given quite a lot of cuttings to people, and I mean, half the joy of a garden is to be able to
pass the plants on, yes.
Pass the plants on.
And you've got the continuity with the ceanothus coming through again the helichrysum.
And the helichrysum.
That is a very beautiful corner. No matter which way you look at, that is a gorgeous corner.
Well, you're saying all the nicest possible things.
Oh, no, but that says itself, doesn't it?
Yes, I don't think it wants any bush, I must say.
No, and then you've got your acacia coming tumbling down off the hillside.
That's lovely, isn't it? Yes.
And Let me give you a hand, yes.
I think I can do that. That is beautiful, and also smells, too. It has a lovely smell.
And to have it arching over the path so you get the fragrance from it is, well, one good reason for walking round the garden instead of looking at it out of the window.
But I love it when it does its fluffy chickens. You know, when it has the little flowers with and people have an idea of it. It's a thing which will only grow in the south of France or somewhere like that. It isn't true, you know. It can grow in lots of places.
And how long will this tree live? Are they long-lived trees, or do they have a short
I honestly
life?
don't know. We are very lucky. They seed themselves. Some of the ones here have grown since we've been here, which is 24 years. And some have died, but nature is bountiful. So, you know, one dies, another one comes up.
Yes, so you don't have to worry about it.
I don't really have to worry too much.
That's a happy garden when they seed themselves.
That's nice, isn't it? Yes.
By no stretch of the imagination could you call this an easy to maintain garden, could you? Everything will be to carry in, is it?
Yes, it is very difficult. It is very difficult because no mechanical aids help you very much. But on the other hand, it's awfully good for you.
Oh, yes.
And it's a splendid garden for goats. I mean, they can get up and down.
Just imagine you have a prodigious appetite.
I have a very good appetite by the evening.
And the daphne there hanging over the path again. This is a marvellous idea to have them so you can get the scent from them all the time.
I think that smell is absolutely lovely, and I like contrasting two foliages of those.
Yes, with the senecio.
Yes.
That is Odora, isn't it?
That's definitely Odora, yes.
Beautiful scent.
Yes, it's a lovely one, I think.
And the fuchsia's still in bloom, and looking like going on into bloom into the summer.
I know, well, it have to be drastically cut, because it must have a rest, mustn't it?
When will you do the pruning?
Probably March, I think. I mean, well, it is almost March now. And what I wanted to do is to get over the worst of the winter, and then cut it hard back, and then cut this back too.
Yes.
Because I have a Clematis Etoile de Violette, which goes up through.
To take
In fact,
over.
yes, we have to be fairly ruthless also with the Solanum. That has to be further on, that has to be cut. And, but the bark's nice, isn't
Oh,
it?
yes, even and grown like that,
Yeah.
of course, they do look
They look nice.
very effective, even
Yeah.
at this time of the year. Noticing the ground cover that you've got on this side, the wood sorrel, my goodness, if that got into the rest of the garden, you'd have problems.
Well, we have an awful fight with it because though I have an imaginary line for which it's not supposed to go any further, it doesn't know about that, and it's inclined to come. I mean, you can't control it here, so you've got to use it, haven't you?
And the bulbs are coming
The
fine,
bulbs
so-
come up through it, and even the snowdrops come up through it, and it is very pretty. It's a little pale pink one. And it's very charming. And you see, we also have that lovely wildflower, which you see a lot of in Jersey, which is called Venus's navel. Do you see the little
that
round
one down there, yeah.
It's a sedum. I can't remember its proper name. I should remember its proper name.
Yes, can I...
It's delightful, isn't it?
Yes, so that... And you see, even if you had grass on there, there's no way that you could mow it.
No way from it.
Not to keep the bulbs as they
No.
need to be kept. No, I would just keep the demarcation line then, tell it about it.
I do, but it doesn't seem to listen. That's the trouble.
My goodness, what sparkling hippeastrum.
They are rather lovely, aren't they?
Aren't they?
I think they're beautiful.
Brilliant.
Delicious different shades. That one is just different to the other one. And that one too.
Quality, velvet texture of the petals. And the great beauty of these is they don't need an awful lot of heat, do they?
No, they don't, no. And I think they're lovely too. Look at that stem coming up.
Through the
With the
stem.
different colours. It's beautiful.
And not a large pot to grow them in. You see, I maintain that when you get a bulb like that, it doesn't cost as much as a bunch of flowers in many cases, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And
no.
then you'll last for weeks like that, because there isn't any heat in this greenhouse.
No, there's no heat in this one.
And you'll keep these for next year, will
Oh
you?
yes, we have them from year after year, and I think they're marvellous because they're very good tempered. And
You
Yeah.
only half bury the bulb,
Half
and then as soon as the flower's finished, you begin to feed to build up the bulb for next year.
yes,
And then I like to dry them off thoroughly by putting them on the staging,
yes,
on the
underneath-
side like that, so they
underneath,
can't,
yes,
yes, underneath the staging.
Yeah.
And then when you start them into growth next year, for the first year, I just take a little bit of the compost off and then water them very gently until you get the flower bud beginning to show, otherwise you get the leaves coming up above it.
And then you water more strongly, don't you?
Yes,
You've got
yes.
that, yes. I
But
think they're lovely, I
Like
must say.
red velvet.
What about this, sir? It'll really look something at something, isn't it?
Yes, that if I was given a choice of which one to take, I would take the Ice Follies Narcissi, because look at that.
I think I'd be hard put. Because I think that's so dramatic with those marvellous stamens coming out. This has got some pretty good stamens in the frill,
Yes.
but look at the curve of that.
Just a little bit like a triffid. You could almost feel threatened if you had 3 of them in the house, couldn't you?
Oh, yes, but nicely threatened. Nicely threatened.
You've got a cold greenhouse with camellias in, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
No,
yes.
I'd love to
That's
see those.
That's really my thing, you know. I love them. And what's more, I think that they are very worth having.
Camellias really do have such splendidly beautiful flowers, don't they?
I think they're wonderful. And they're terribly versatile, too.
Which variety is that one?
That one is called Jack Jones. It's actually an American one, It's not the Jack Jones, the trades union chap, because I think he'd be very proud to own it as his, but it was done by somebody from Georgia. And it has added grace and beauty, but it has the most beautiful smell. If you put your nose into it, it's exceedingly delicate, and you know, it can scent a whole room.
And the quality of the colour, some of them are a wee bit strident, but that with the foliage that it's got as a background, because even when they're not in flower, they are attractive, aren't they? Because the leaves are so very, very good.
I think they're lovely. I think they're lovely.
And the versatility of the camellia, the fact that in a cold greenhouse like this, you can grow them and flower them. When they get too big, you can put them outdoors.
Absolutely. Yes, I think the scented kind, which I go in for, perhaps smell more in the greenhouse than they would out of doors.
Oh, yes, because the fragrance is
Yes,
enclosed, isn't it?
yes.
And they make such good pot plants, too. I think this is an ice cream carton, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I should have painted it black. I believe they prefer black. I can't think why they prefer black, but they do. And I must apologise to the plant, but it's a lovely one.
That is the single flowered. I do prefer them. They have a quality, haven't they, that's so very close to the species.
Well, they're marvellous. In Japan, this is the kind that came from Japan, they grow wild on the mountains, and they're covered with snow for nearly all the winter, and then in the spring when it melts, they burst forth.
May I take a cutting off that? Because
of course.
you have some rooted. And that's the style of cutting that you take.
Absolutely right,
Just
yes.
very
Do
gently.
you want my secateurs?
No, I think I'd like to get them with a heel, if I can do it without
Yes, of course they do.
damaging the plant.
Yes, do indeed. Please take as many as you want. I'm
And
devoted to them.
That's the style. Nip the bottom leaf off. And the thing I was intrigued with, I noticed when I was ferreting around in your propagation case, you don't need to stick a label in the pot because you can just write it on the back of the leaf, which
With a barrow,
no
yes.
chance of getting the labels mixed up there.
Yes.
And that's the sort of root that you get on them in bottom heat.
But
Magic, isn't it?
I
When
think
you
it
start
does really
propagating
yes,
fast.
I know.
I'll pop that one in a pot because
Yeah.
really it's much better tucked in than it will be outside. Just pot him up quickly.
I'm going to pick up that one for you.
Yes, I'll put that in the propagation case.
Yeah.
And the way I find with rooting them is to, if you haven't got a propagation case, just to put them in sand and peat like that, and then slip a polythene bag over the whole pot so the leaves aren't touching the sides, and keep them on the kitchen windowsill. My kitchen windowsill is like an Amazon jungle, so overcrowded.
I'm interested that you would take a cutting now, because I think this wood is actually okay, but sometimes the wood's a bit hard now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
If you can take them in the summer, it's much
July
better.
is better, really, when they're not quite, when they've ceased being green, because
Yeah.
they're bendy.
I've seen your propagation case. I know how you root them. This is a very, very beautiful variety too, isn't it?
Yes, that's called sensation.
Mm-hmm.
I think well named, don't you? It's got a very delicate smell.
Oh my, every fragrance is different
They're all
between
different,
these.
they're all different.
But
yes.
when you get them matched against the leaves like that,
People, I don't think, realise that amongst the camellias, because one sees the enormous ones or the other ones, you know, like there's one over there, which is immense, that there are, I think, 12 or 13 different species in the family of camellias, and that our tea plant, of course, and our tea
Camellia
comes from
tea, yes.
tea.
And what's the treatment in here? Do you feed them at all when you've got
Yes,
them
we
inside?
do. Actually, what we do is we spray them a certain amount in the summer. because
That's
they have to
against
be sprayed.
scale and things
yes,
like
and things
that.
like that. And also they like a sort of mist, you know, to freshen them up, because they're not out of doors.
Like the
and that.
monsoons,
Yes,
yes.
like that. And I use Maxi Crop or one of those things which is based with seaweed.
Any of the
The
seaweed which
seaweedy
contains the
based
trace
ones,
elements, yes.
which they seem to enjoy very much, and sometimes a slow release fertilizer. But you have to be very careful in a small environment like this that you don't overfeed, because you can get building up, you know,
Yes.
nasties.
Toxicity in the
Yes,
soil,
yes.
and you get over soft growth. But they
Yeah.
are beautiful. And they look just as well outdoors as well, don't
Oh,
they?
they're lovely. Yes, they're lovely.
Even in Jersey, you know, I don't believe you can grow cymbidiums outside.
No, but look how beautiful they are. They are the most versatile plant, because they really are the house plant for the future, I think. If you have to give them a bit of room. But when you talk about outside, they can go out for the summer. They summer outside,
Yes.
under the trees, and I think they are lovely. Their ordinary name is boat orchid. And they are rather like a boat, aren't they?
Yes, and the where the flowers are carried down the stem, it really is an arching spray, that, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
And that one's called Sutherland.
That one's called Sutherland. It's the first orchid that I was given some years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm very fond of it because it was a cross which originated from Dell Park. And tracing back how one ever became aficionado in a slight way of orchids, which is a very new thing for me, was the fact that I used to stay at Dell Park. It had that wonderful collection of orchids, and which had been the parents of so many of our most lovely orchids since, I think.
And you were taken round and indoctrinated, and it's taken
well, I
a
mean,
while
yes,
to
it
work
was
with.
actually, funnily enough, it was one of those things that it was totally I was being polite to my host, whom I liked very much, and who was enthusiastic. And on Sundays, I went round with the head gardener, and he wore his top hat and a morning coat, and we went round. And then, you know, and I went as well because I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't.
What a lovely way to be indoctrinated. Is that green goddess behind that?
Well, I don't actually know. It could well be, couldn't it? It is so absolutely beautiful. And it's marvellous, and I think that's where the moths go, isn't it?
That's right, the coloured attraction. Strange, you know, how green flowers should have such a compelling beauty. Is there any problem with watering or cultivation? Because this house is fairly cold, you know, the only heating is from the propagating case, isn't it?
Yes, well, as a matter of fact, I have got those long bars, but I can't really afford to use them.
Yeah.
So we have a thermostat so that it can't fall below 50.
Oh, that's not extravagant, then,
That's
is it?
not extravagant, you see. And if we have very bad weather, I can put a bar on, but normally speaking, it's unplugged, because otherwise one has a sort of fainting fit when the bill comes in.
And those can go into the house.
They go into the house, and they are wonderful.
Survive quite happily,
And they
can't
survive very, very well.
And they last for weeks and weeks and weeks in flower. Your watering, what is the watering? You adjust it according to the need of the
adjust it
plant?
accordingly, and better to use, if you can, rainwater, and also not cold rainwater.
Yeah.
You'll put a little warm water in, because, I mean, I wouldn't really like a cold bath.
No, you'd get
Would
it
you?
pretty smartly, yes.
Yes, you know.
And the heavy stems there,
Well,
they would surely...
they are, I think, are wonderful. The only thing you have to be careful with them is that they don't kink, because you don't get a kinky orchid. Because you have to be, you see, if they're too heavy, they fall over, and they get a little sort of bend, and the sap doesn't rise.
Yes.
And so you have to be very careful, but I do think they are absolutely beautiful. I
And
mean,
dropping
look at that
down
one.
to the slipper orchid there, that is a complete contrast, isn't it?
That's absolutely so, yes. It looks like wax, doesn't it?
Looks as if it's been moulded.
And the very subtlety of those colours there.
And they are very definitely houseplants, because I've grown them quite often indoors, provided you don't keep them in too hot, dry an atmosphere. Because that's one thing that orchids abominate, isn't it? Dryness of the atmosphere.
Yes.
You get red spider mite. The idea there is very good of putting them in a container too, and a little layer of moist peat in the bottom, and stand them on that.
Yes. Well, funnily enough, I've got mine in gravel. Do you think I do better with moist peat? I do them with gravel and wet
Keep
the
that
gravel.
moist,
Do you
yes.
see? I
Works
damp
just
the
as well.
gravel, yes.
Only if you're working away from home, it's a good idea. I would substitute the gravel for peat, because peat will hold such a vast amount of water and release it slowly around the plants.
Oh, well, that I will. I'll do that. Yes, I think that is better. Yes, they are lovely, I think.
You've got to be very careful, mind, that you don't get weaned away from camellias and onto orchids, because they are a most compulsive plant.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Unless I'm suddenly become chair-bound in my old age and can't get out. Camellias have been my love so long.
And you can bring you a potted camellia in, even if you are.
Yes, you can, but they don't like being in for too long.
Oh, no.
They don't like it. They'll do a week is about all.
One thing you have got here is perfect drainage, isn't it? You can tell that by the way the winter iris are flowering.
They are very, very good tempered. They hate being moved, you know. They sulk,
yes,
don't they,
yes.
if they're moved.
Aren't they grand, Ray?
Yeah, yes,
Really?
they are grand, yes.
How long have they been in flower?
Oh, about a month now, I would say. A month,
Almost more, I think.
I think a bit more than a month, yes.
Sometimes they start in November,
Yes.
but this year they were a bit later.
Yes, to see anything as delicate as Iris unguicularis in flower at this time of the year, you wonder how this stand is.
Yes, you do,
In
yeah.
that beautiful stand. And you're pulling the dead out too?
Yes, I'm pulling it down, just
Get them ripe,
let them ripe, you know, and stop the disease getting in, you know, because I think it does.
Yeah, do you get any deadheading at all, or do you just let them drop?
I just let them drop by themselves. Yep.
Very pretty.
I think
Very
they're
pretty.
lovely. They're lovely.
What a novel idea that is. Is that a fountain at the bottom there with the camellias?
No, no, it's a bassin or basin, which holds, it's an old one, of course, holds water. And I first saw it when I was lucky enough to go to Japan, just after the International Camellia Society had been formed by our old friend Charles Puddle in 1962. And I thought it was lovely because it displays them so well. And also, of course, I had the great opportunity, whereas before I'd had one camellia, which I was very pleased with in Hampshire, when I lived in Hampshire, then I suddenly had the book of camellias, which are so many, open before me, and all the different varieties and how long they flower.
You get some
And
idea
it's
from
wonderful,
that
isn't it?
precisely how much form and shape and difference there is in the flowers.
I think they are absolutely amazing, I must say. I like the small ones, as you know, and that little one that's whizzing off over there, and I'm going to bring back over here because he's so pretty. He's called an anemone flowered.
Oh,
And he's very like an anemone, isn't he? And he's called Jingle Bells.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, single ones, you know.
How big does that grow?
Well, he doesn't grow very big. He's a smallish bush. But, of course, you can control all that growth. I mean, say, you have to be brutal to do it, but you can cut them hard back.
As long as you apologise when you're doing it.
Oh, I
of course.
always apologise. I learned that from Mr. Adachi in Japan. He was a great man. And he always said when he cut his camellias, he apologised to me.
I can
And
understand
I do
that
it too. I'm so sorry. You know. I'm so sorry.
And this one over
And that one is called Tomorrow. That is tomorrow of today, you understand me, and that was tomorrow of yesterday. It has a very, very subtle variation of colour.
It appreciably changes
Yes, it
colour.
does,
You can
doesn't
see
it?
the veins in the petals, can't you?
I think it's lovely. And this one is called Peoniflora. It's a very old one, which grows a lot in Jersey. And that is a very, I call it Jupiter, but it's hardly as red as Jupiter should be. It's single.
I like it better than Jupiter. The
like
colour
it
is
better?
much more subtle, isn't it?
I
Showing
think
the
it
yellow
is, yes, I
stamens.
think it is. But it's a beautiful one. But my favourite, perhaps, is this one. Do you see here, with the little striated bits of pink? Because that's a Higo camellia, which has an unpronounceable name, but you can get them in England. They were grown by the samurai warriors in Japan, you know, the fighting men.
Fighting men growing flowers,
Yes,
isn't that a
when
lovely
they
thought?
retired, or when there wasn't a war to fight, and they weren't being employed by the chaps to go and fight each other, they had a great thing about camellias, which they grew and they displayed, and they started having shows. And then, of course, when peace came, and it became also a thing which was done. But
That could have given the world a lot of new camellia varieties because fighting men had to have a relaxation in breeding flowers.
yes,
Is that a tall growing one?
it's about
No, not
that
big.
sort of height and rather spready. But
About
you see,
4
you
feet.
don't want it to go too tall because it faces upwards, and you would want to be able to look down on its face.
And the
But-
great boss of stamens
Yes.
coming out of the middle. When you've got them in the open garden, do you feed them and mulch them or do anything with them to keep them
Oh,
happy?
yes, they have to be fed and loved and all the rest of it, I mean, and talked to. And that's the point about not having an immense amount of them, which I have quite a lot, but I can give them individual attention. And they are fed about March. About March, either with a little dried blood or with some proprietary band of slow-release fertilizer, which is for acid soils, of course. For
That's
rhododendrons, you can't go and give them something which is going
No,
to be good
no.
on a limey soil.
It's
And-
important not to stimulate growth too much, particularly when you're gardening in a very cold climate, as we
Yeah.
are. You've got to keep them hard, otherwise the first frost seems to kill them.
They have surface roots, you see, very near the ground. They don't want to be too deeply planted, so they like a mulch. They like a mulch of rotted leaf mold and that sort of thing. They don't really like manure.
And the pink one there, is that donation?
No, it isn't. It looks awfully like it, doesn't it? But it isn't. It's too concave and more like a water lily. Donation is the same colour, but a little flatter. But I think they're both what you call rose fawn.
Yes, my favourite camellia donation. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lott Phillips. I've had a lovely time. The Camellia Society are coming here in April. If they enjoy the garden half as much as I've done, then they're going to have a very good day out. But the garden is open to the public, so anyone who wants to come can look round and see the camellias. But join us at Clack's Farm next week, when we'll be talking about choosing roses and sowing seeds, making you work for a change. Until then, goodbye.